2024 was a year of projects. Loads of stuff got done in the bonsai retreat. Like this failed air layer on the Linden. Totally and utterly failed, but I've been trying to build over the last 18 months a whole new structure. We're going to see some footage from that. Also, I started another project in early 2024 where I'm trying to fuse roots together to form a nice fused base, and I've done it with oak, I've done it with beech, and I've done it with maples as well. We're also going to have a little look at a couple of things that just slipped through the crack. We've got this privet, which was the third of the ones that I did some carving on. So come with me, enjoy the journey. 3 or 4 very, very different trees, including... Oh,
get off the phone. Get off the phone.
Hello. I know, it's just about to go live. Get down in your seat, get yourself a cup of coffee. Hey, let's roll the credits and we'll watch it together. Hi, it's Xavier. Welcome to a bonsai retreat. Do you know what? It's the 4th of December and it's cold. It's certainly probably 3 weeks colder now than it was last year. All the projects I had are pretty well on hold. Stuff's going into the greenhouse, the cold frame. The azaleas have all gone in there. All my real fine twig structure Chinese elm root over rocks, they've gone in there. The European olives, got them in there as well. And a few other stuff like air layers that hadn't yet worked out. They're going in there over the winter. Keep them nice and warm and see if we get results next year. As I mentioned in the intro, there's things that slip through the cracks, but there's also quite a few trees and projects that I haven't updated on you. So you'll have seen them in the spring and you've probably thought, do you know what? This is another one of those Xav tricks where another tree's died. Well, do you know what? As Yella kept reminding me, Xav, you're pretty good at bonsai. And actually, I've got quite a few updates I'm going to show you. Are they stunning and startling? Well, do you know what? Bonsai sometimes is truly a game of patience. And to demonstrate that, let's have a look at these, I called it my Ebihara project, based on Mr. Ebihara and different techniques and styles he was using to try and create fused plate roots.
I'm confused.
What I did is I got these kids' plastic plates, I put holes, 5 of them, and then I whacked in trees like that. In this case, the maples. I did it with the oaks and I did it with the beech. This is how they look now. We've got these long big whips. Am I going to do anything to those whips? No, because I'm interested in the roots. So we're going to let these all grow again next year, and hopefully in another year we might have a little dig around and see just how much roots have been formed above the surface of the plastic plate, so that I can chop the bases, all the old original roots off, and hopefully get this lovely, lovely flat plastic plate flare. Plastic plate flare, this lovely plastic root. Gosh, you can tell it's nearly Christmas. This lovely circular plated root flare, which is what the aim is of this. Are there other ways to get it? Of course there are. You can bind these things together. You can do them individually. There's lots of ways, but this is the way I've chosen to do it. You know what? All the 5 maples are firmly in there, so I have no doubt there's a lot of roots growing in there. Temptation to dig in there now? Oh, it's high, but we're not going to. And we've got the oaks here. I put looks like 7 of them together, and again they're all threaded into that plate. All very healthy, had lots of growth on them, and my hope is, of course, that down there beneath the soil line we've got lots of roots growing and matting together. Again, do I need to prune anything here? No, I want these. What I actually want is these to become as thick as quickly as possible. So feed heavily, make sure there's no issues or stuff on the base of the soil or anything like that. These are lovely. You can feel them nice and solid and in. That means if they're solid there, that means that they've definitely grabbed in the hole and is expanding nicely. So, you know, we're hopeful that we're going to get lots of roots around the edge. Other thing, winter wash, mustn't forget that. Because with all these experiments, especially stuff we're doing experiments over time scales 3, 4, 5 years, what we want to do is optimize health. And again, the key thing with this beech is to make sure that no mold or mildew around the bases. If you're seeing, they're all very, very solidly rooted in there, so whatever's going on, there's a good solid root structure developing. In terms of how the group looks, again, the reason why I picked the holes is because I actually wanted to do some spacing of the trees and keep them at that spacing, whereas if you don't use a fixed form or structure, then there's a tendency as you work through the year, the trees grow closer together, and some say, yeah, it looks more natural, but I wanted to really fix these in a certain static position and then see how much root growth we can get over the top, till eventually, hopefully, what we're going to get is basically this great big clump with 5 trunks coming out of it. I think that's going to take a few years, and if you want to see if I ever achieve that, now's a great time to hit the old ding ding, bell notifications, subscribe if you haven't already done so, and please, if you think anyone else might enjoy this little project, share. Now, I think what we want to do next is go back to a project that I started in 2022. There's 2 videos on it. It's a Fuji Cherry, and it's called A Nursery Plant to Bonsai. So, year 2, what are we going to do? Well, first of all, we're going to have a look at those gorgeous, gorgeous flowers. Right, well, believe it or not, we've flashed on to the 25th of April, and hey, there it is. Flowers have obviously gone, and now we're looking at something that's all the leaf and branch structure we can start seeing. Thankfully, we're early enough in spring that they haven't browned off and crackled yet, but I think that's looking pretty good. And really, right now, I could be tempted to prune, where I see some obvious things I can do here. We've got a branch here, but I can remove that. That's died. We've got some lower stuff here. Don't want to waste energy on that. Get rid of that. I've got some fruits on there. Much that we love our fruits, I'm not going to have the tree waste energy on them this year. Anywhere where there's seed pods, let's get rid of those. And I notice the wire's still on, so definitely now I'm going to remove that. Again, we're just looking to see any signs of infestations or any bugs or anything we don't want. And to be fair, a few leaves that have been yomped about, but it's looking pretty good. And we all know how to remove wire, but in this case, because we've got what I call juvenile growth, I want to be very careful, and I'm not going to try unwinding it. I'm just going to remove that, and there's just some very, very light scarring in there, and it's not scarring, it's just marks, really, shadows. They're moonlight shadows, so to speak. Right, well, here it is, the 17th of May. The growth has continued to go on, but what I have been able to see is things like here. We've got a little bit of leaf scorching. I have kept this in the shade. So what I will do is, where there's clearly signs of branch dying off, I'm wondering, again, this one here, got a nice branch down here. I might actually cut this back a long way, try and bring that out, which means this one I also want to probably take back, keep that flat there. And what I am going to do is just clean out, and all I do is I cut some of the leaves just so I can see what's going on in there. And again, the main reason we want the leaves cleared out, there's no way, if I can't see in there, then sunlight can't see in there, and also it's a great hiding place for those horrible bugs. So but really, I just need to look in the junctions here. You can see here, it's quite a chaotic mess, and what I'm trying to do is all these leaves that are close in, I remove them because I really can't see what's going on otherwise, and I probably don't want anything coming out from there anyway. So I can see that junction there now. We've got, if you look at this, we've got this one coming out horizontally and then one coming upwards. So I have to decide whether I want that horizontal one there or whether I'm going to concentrate on this, and in this case I'm actually going to remove it because that's the main branch going up. Got this one coming that way. Let's get rid of anything that's growing there because I want growth from these points, not from in close. And with Fuji Cherry, they most definitely send out lots and lots of bud points in close, so we want to clear those out. I want the growth upwards. This here I want cleared out. Just clear it out. There we go. So this is now more to a flat pad. I want the growth coming out more on a horizontal. Definitely don't want vertical on this pad. Looking here, we can already make some real easy decisions about this. We're not going to want that sort of height. So let's cut it all the way back to there. The same with up here. We're not going to want all that. Same with this one here. The same with this one ultimately here. We're only going to want to go back to about there. I am always trying to remember that what I want is to be encouraging lower stuff, and I will have the most of it coming around here. Ultimately, I'm still loving this. Well, would you believe it? It's now the 23rd of July, and here it is. A little bit weed strewn. We've got a little bit of moss and stuff growing, and some horrible algae and camembert algae all over the thing. First of all, we need to completely remove any new weed growth that's growing up, especially anything that's growing around the base of the trunk. Clean out this area here so that I don't get a horrible mark in there. Okay, well, that's all nicely cleared out, and we've managed to get rid of any dead roots that were there. I think this looks quite interesting. Lots of fertilizer still in there. That's great. I think most of you by now will know that what we do need to do is start looking at these little shoots and recognize that they play no part in the design. That's going to be the front. I probably don't want anything coming towards me, so we'll get rid of that. But do you know what I have noticed? Very, very interesting. Nearly put my finger in it. Do you want to see what it is? It's a bit there. It's this here. It's a great big... It's almost like glass. And that's all exuded from that cut side. It's absolutely solid. I've never seen that before. Well, I suppose we'll I'll fill that up. Yeah, very, very bizarre though. Has anyone else seen something like that? I was almost expecting to see a mosquito in there and I can make dinosaurs like Jurassic Park.
This fossilized tree sap, which we call amber.
Might keep that. It's very, very interesting. Do I need to do any pruning up here? Well, what is there to prune? It's I want growth out. In fact, what I'd like to do is to see if this gives a sort of midsummer, late summer flush, and whether it will actually sort of flush out. They're going to be next year's buds there, so I'll do sort of bud selection probably later in the maybe in the autumn or the late winter. So what now? Well, first of all, anyone out there who is hoping for miraculous feet's worth of growth from all this, well, sometimes it's about observing how different species react, how quickly they grow. And I think I said earlier with these Fuji, to me in this garden, they've grown a little slower. Now, if I'd kept it out of a bonsai pot and kept it perhaps in a grow bed or something like that, well, we know we'll have got massive different results. But for this project, it's staying in this pot, and it will stay in this pot for at least another 4 or 5 years. All I'm going to do is feed it heavily and then follow exactly the same pattern that you've just seen. As for these different buds here, well, I'm actually going to let all of them, this is flower, we've got some interesting areas here, lots of areas that are going to bud out, and I'd imagine in 2025 I think we're going to see a much bigger growth, especially as a year on from when it got potted. I'm not going to lie, a bit disappointed. I thought we'd get a lot more out of this, and I think I'll stress it again, and I know good friend Jason Hanran has said the same. Bonsai is not a sprint, it's a bit of a marathon. We can get quick results, but for some of the better results we need to work hard at it, and we've got to work to the pace of the plant that we're using. So definitely looking at that, there's a little bit of rollover here, but that's an identification of something that I've actually not been doing well, and it's something I'm going to be concentrating on in 2025. And for those of you who want to try and better understand wound healing and how to optimize it, you want to follow that journey with me. Secretly, I love this. I think this, if you stick with me, is going to look absolutely incredible in a few more years' time.
We can't wait that long.
Now there was another one that we've been working on. It actually relates to a small leaf lime or a linden. Let's have a look and just see how decent the bud production's been for 2024, which is what I was really looking for. In fact, let's do a bit of catch up. Let's go and have a watch of this little video here. Okay, well, 17th of May. This is leafed out a lot. We can do some pruning on it, and we also really need to look at the wire that's down here. Got a little bit of growth here. Is that going to be useful? Do you know what? I don't know. It may well be that we do end up growing a branch out this way. This is now coming out a very, very long way, so I'm going to take that right back. This one is coming into the branch, and we've actually got just here a little bud point here and a little growth here. I want that, so let's cut this right back. So we're asking this one to be the new bud point. So let's get rid of a leaf there, really ask it to work hard for us, and then hopefully that's going to respond well. And I'm now going to go around and do exactly the same thing across the board. What I will say is the growth feels, I call it soggy.
What did you just say?
It means it's not, you know when you get a lettuce and it's crisp and crunchy, which means it's full of water and good stuff. This is less, and it's not necessarily a bad thing, but it means that probably needs a water actually. Trying to bring it down, dense it out here and here, and that's starting to roll over. I will probably need to rewound that, put some more cut paste on it, and let that continue to heal again. Already this great hunk here, probably we can get rid of that straight away. Things that are getting in our way, these leaves coming across here, we'll get rid of them straight away. And the only thing I will do is there's a few leaves that are a wee bit big, and this is where I'll do my leaf cutting, and all I do is find the seam, fold up the seam and take a little bit off. What that means is that the tree has reduced its capacity to take energy from there, and that is another way of promoting back budding. And every now and then you do it the wrong way and the leaf looks really odd. Tell you what, do you want to zone in and see some white bugs? Of course you do. We all know what bugs look like, but if we turn this leaf over, we can see there clearly loads of little, and I would imagine they're the laphid eggs. And all they'll do is they'll hatch and they'll suck the living life out of your lovely bonsai tree. Okay, well, you've caught up on what I've been doing through 2024. Here it is now, obviously nuded of leaves, and some of you may be saying, well, I don't really see a big difference, and well, actually I see quite a lot of difference, because if you're getting close to this and follow the structure, you can see the areas where I cut. Here I was hoping to get buds. I've got those buds that I want to use. I've got multiple buds all the way going out. Now what I'm going to do is just take away some of these unwanted buds. They're still loads lower down. That would be perfectly safe with these. These are tough as old boots, they are. So I've got a nice bud here, rather than going up, we'll take that. But there's so many further back that in fact, in the interests of looking at taper, we'll take that there, because we've got a bud that's going to go straight out plus one to the side. Same here, we've got these buds here. So I'm going to go around this and just pick the buds that I actually wanted. And in this instance, anything that's pointing up, I certainly don't want. And what I love about these is, although we've got buds moving out this way, beneath it there's little micro buds, and they're probably the ones that I'm going to want. So I'm going to whack around there and do that. But this has actually been a success story. And in terms of the healing, we've definitely got some rollover occurring this year. I've just taken the paste off over nearly 4/5 of that wound. This branch here needs to get stronger because we need more stuff feeding through, but we've got an area down here where we haven't got rollover, so next year I'm going to reopen that and try and encourage more rollover. Now I've basically gone around it, and in reality what I've done is taken all the terminal buds off and just left it with 2, maybe 3 buds for the growth that I want in 2025. Doing it now The aim is that all the energy next spring, when it bubbles up from deep down beneath the roots and right in there, all that energy is going to be directed to just the 2 or 3 buds that I want, rather than starting to fill up the other ones, which will then subsequently cut off. That's the plan anyway. These are, as I said to you, really hardy. I don't actually anticipate there to be any problems in terms of storage. It's left in the middle of the garden at ground level, and very confident that it'll work its way through a typical UK winter. And the good thing about linden, there's buds when you get in close all over this. They are so easy to grow and make ideal candidates for bonsai, especially for the beginner. Okay, well, you know that I certainly did some work on a couple of privets in the summer. I did some carving, staining, and I did do this third one here. Let's just remind ourselves of just a little bit of work I did. Well, what are we now? 25th of August? I don't really like box. It's good really, because that's privet.
Get a haircut.
I repotted this out of the, I think it was in an orange tub. Lots of growth on this side. We've got something here, but this is all died off. So let's just help the tree show me that nothing's happening there. Looking at the bark, I can't see that lasting much longer, because it depends how well that hangs on. But there is a lot of weird. So there's a vein in there that's obviously working through there. But we've got a lot of dead here. So that's interesting. I don't know. I might do an initial bit of carving on that. Carve these. I haven't done any styling at all. 2/3 of this is dead. So again, lots of carving. So I'll just get this done. And probably just wire out some of those branches. But it's not the most impressive piece, so that's the reason you probably haven't seen it yet. I think the dead woodwork's going to look pretty good on it though. There it is. I know, nothing special. I've done it. I have trimmed and clipped a little bit back. Clearly we've got an issue over here, and if I'm going to be honest with you, I can't see this one making it. Okay, well here it is now. So I've put this a new top dressing on there, and we've got some little shoots that we obviously don't want, so we're going to remove those. Just cleaning off anywhere here that may be getting done. But this is where I did the stain. What I'm really going to do is put some more stain on. I'll probably do that in another week. What I want to do is just let that dry out a bit more. But certainly the carving is nice and solid and holding. We've got some nice structural branches that are clearly alive and doing okay here. We've got that classic wintry colour of the privet now. They are an evergreen, but the colours tend to go a lot darker as we get to this time of the year. Up here looks like, so anything from this side doesn't appear to have made it, and that's certainly dead in there. So I'll cut that back. Dead, yeah, okay. So that's all dead, which means if we look here, I think I tried to have a branch, I'm sure it was on this side here, I tried to save one. Everything here is gone. So next year, a lot more carving. Could I do it right now? Yeah, I could. Except for those of you who've been watching my stuff, you'll know that my little nibbler, the motor burnt out. So that's why I can't do anything more on there. We have got this branch here, so hopefully that means this weedy live vein is alive, and if I nurture it and look after it, I can actually grow that side out. But you know what? This is all still healthy on this side, so this can just be a really interesting heavy carving for 2025. Clearly, if you want to see how this develops, and in fact how the other privets have got on, then you need to hang around for 2025, and you know which buttons, whatever, down here or there you need to press. You'll know with the number of trees I've got that there's loads of other project trees that have also been moving forwards, but you haven't seen. But trust me, you will get to see them in 2025. If you've got any questions for anything else you'd like to see before Christmas draws a close, then let me know now in the comments, because I'm just planning a final Christmas update video. So if there's anything you want to know about, let me know in there. So I hope you've enjoyed those updates from those various different projects, the nursery plants of bonsai, these Ebihara style where I'm trying to get the plated roots, the linden. There's been loads of stuff, and it's just a shame I haven't been able to show it all because there's just not enough time in the day to get the videoing done and also the bonsai. And if you want to get a better understanding of exactly what I was doing when I talk about this Ebihara project, then you know what, if you've got 15 minutes, that's the video you need to watch next. Apart from that, happy bonsai and God bless. Cheers.